Welcome back to AutoScoop with your host, Adam Goldfine.
Welcome back to AutoScoop. I'm Adam Goldfine. We're having the chance to talk to some of the top racers in America here at the Atlanta Dragway. Now I have the chance to talk with Ron Capps. Ron, thanks so much for taking the time. It's really exciting. You're in first place. Funny cars, right?
We are.
Driving the Dodge Charger, the RT?
Yeah, NAPA Auto Parts, Dodge Charger, and we're in Commerce, Georgia.
There you go. So I'm sure NAPA's very happy that you guys are here in their hometown at the same time.
They're ecstatic, and this is such a big race. Coca-Cola with Full Throttle is our series sponsors, also obviously located in Atlanta. So for most of the teams, it's a big deal coming here.
Yeah. Now I got to ask, for the folks that aren't as comfortable or aren't as familiar with drag racing, when they hear the name Funny Car, what does it mean?
That's a good question. We get that all the time. And we have a couple announcers here that are full-time announcers on our tour, and one of them said years ago that when they first put a body on a dragster back in the 50s, it just looked funny because it didn't line up on the chassis, and so they coined the term funny car, and it kind of stuck.
Right, and so these are not cars that go slow by any stretch of the imagination.
0 to 300 plus miles per hour in 4 seconds, and, as you see right behind us, in a quarter of a mile. So as a spectator, you're in the grandstands and you watch this from start to finish, and it's amazing to feel the force of the cars, and then to watch them go 0 to 310 miles per hour right in front of your eyes.
And the thing that I understand is that these cars are the fastest accelerating machines in the world, right? I mean, faster than the space shuttle.
Yeah.
Faster than an F-15.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right on
more G-forces, 6.5 Gs. And then when we pull the parachutes, it's probably -7 or 8 Gs.
You're like Roger Moore, as James Bond with the face going back, right?
Probably are. What's funny is I got a lot of friends that race NASCAR, and talking to them, they always make fun of us because we go a quarter of a mile and we get out to do interviews, and we're so out of breath, you'd think we ran it instead of driving a car. And yet they get out of the 500 miles at Talladega, and they're nonchalant in their interviews.
Right. Well, when you're riding down and you're seeing the end of the track coming up on you, what are you thinking?
It gets to you so quick. I mean, you are literally coming right at the finish line. You actually hit the parachute levers about 300 feet before the finish line because it takes that long to hit the parachutes, and by that time you're already at the finish line.
And the other thing that I think about that, as the guy watching the sport, it's like, how do you make sure you don't pop the clutch before the light, you get the right light? I mean, where does all that practice and that timing? Because it's so fast.
That's why we get paid the big bucks. I mean, the reaction time is so important as a driver. I mean, it's everything. Everything at the Christmas tree and reaction times.
Because they have the lights beam, so they know where your tire is.
Yep.
So there's no I didn't go over the line.
No, and a red light comes on, it means you left too soon, you fouled.
Okay. And so what would happen if you did foul? Would you be disqualified?
We don't talk about it, Adam.
Okay, so this is one of those things that we don't do. And the other thing is the handicapping. Do they do handicapping in the series?
The cars racing behind us, they do. Okay. Our class is straight up. It's heads up, as quick as you can go, as fast as you can bring it to the starting line. I mean, that's what we do. So
are there is it weight classes, from the standpoint that you got to be in a certain range, or is it actually down to the pound?
They have a minimum weight, and it's 2,350, 2,350 pounds with me as a driver.
Okay. It's very exciting because I tell you, one of the things, when you learn all the technical stuff that goes into it, all the thought that goes into it, the precision, the engineering, I mean, the fact that, let's say you have, NAPA and Coca-Cola, and they're putting all this emphasis. This is really the cutting edge, when it comes to racing, when we're sitting here and we're watching it.
It is, and if somebody hasn't been to one of these races, the best part about it is bringing your kids. I mean, you get to go into the pit area and meet the legends of the sport, the drivers, after they race. And you don't get to do that at a NASCAR race. You don't get to do it at a baseball or football game. It's as good as it gets as far as buying a ticket and getting the best bang for your dollar.
Yeah, it's amazing how personable you guys all are. Every one of you is a different personality, and I like watching how you have the different teammates. So let's say you have Matt, who's on your team, and the ribbing that goes on. Obviously, there's a good camaraderie as you guys travel around the country.
There is, and Matt, he's a rookie this year, and I've been teaching him a lot. He says, I feel like I am too, but he's also bringing this youthful energy to me.
Right.
I'm 43 years old, and so I feel like I'm 18. But when he shows up in the pit area, we just have such a good time. He's such a young, good guy that we have a great time. It's a good mix.
Yeah, and if somebody were getting introduced to the sport for the first time, what's the one message you want to get out to the kids out there?
Stay in school, obviously, but don't race on the street. That's something that that's what we have the drag strips for.
Absolutely. It's wonderful to talk to you, and thank you for taking the time. We definitely encourage you to bring the family out. The drag strips open, okay? So you can come on out and watch the racing through Sunday only at the Atlanta Dragway. 149 is the exit on I-85. We'll see you next week on AutoScoop. I'm Adam Goldfine.